Hello and welcome back to IBS Answer Portal. Today's video is your first instructional video, A101, Understanding Your IBS. And this is the most important part of your treatment protocol. In order to understand IBS, I'm going to use a very simple analogy. As a matter of fact, I'd like to quote Albert Einstein. It was once said that Albert Einstein defined insanity as a person doing the same repetitive thing over and over again with the hopes of attaining a different outcome. Guess what? That really explains IBS. If you have IBS and you've had it for years, and you've visited one or more doctors, and you still have discomfort, pain, gas, bloating, diarrhea, loose stool frequency, or constipation, and you don't get any relief, and you don't get answers, yet you keep going to the doctor. In essence, isn't that what Albert Einstein said? I'm going to tell you, I know why that occurs. And it can be a very frustrating thing for you. I can guarantee you, the first time you went to a doctor, they probably did a fecal elastase test on you to determine if your pancreas is not producing enough lipase, which breaks down fat. So if you tested negative, they go, yeah, you don't have pancreatitis. Well, what's wrong with me, doctor? Well, we don't know, so we call it Irritable Bowel Syndrome. I will most likely presume you also had a colonoscopy, and when you went back for a follow-up visit, the physician told you, I didn't find anything remarkable. It was really relatively normal. And then you say, well, doctor, why do I have continued problems? Gas, cramping, bloating, loose stools. You got the picture. And the doctor goes, well, I don't know. And that's why we call it IBS, Irritable Bowel Syndrome. It doesn't happen all the time. It happens every couple of weeks or for a period of time, and then you get a little relief. So they labeled it Irritable Bowel Syndrome. But you still don't have the answers. You're frustrated as can be. I have the answers, and I figured it out. And as you know, I spent a lot of years, almost 3 years, doing my research. And I'll clearly tell you, medicine is looking in the wrong place. And I'm going to explain to you why. I have a good analogy, because you're going to have to understand your digestive tract. Let us say you're planning on going on a trip from New York to LA. And let's suppose you could drive in your car nonstop at 65 miles an hour. Under normal conditions, you will get there in 44 hours. Unless you encounter some problem, which could be a snowstorm, a bridge could have washed out, there could have been flooding, there could have been a tractor trailer that overturned. You get the picture. It will take you a lot longer than 44 hours to traverse 2,890 miles or 4,667 kilometers. So I'm going to compare it to your intestinal tract, your entire digestive tract. From your mouth to your anus is 30 feet. That's 9 meters. Let us suppose you eat a piece of cake. How long should it take it to get from your mouth to the end stage, your anus? Under normal conditions, the average person, it takes 33 hours. As that food transverses, it goes through a series of metabolic functions that break down and metabolize your food. And I'll clearly tell you, in your mouth and in your stomach, the chances of you having difficulty are slim concerning IBS. What I call ground zero is your small intestines, and that's where your problem occurs. What I'm going to ask you is you make the commitment to get better, and you can cure your IBS. I'll give you a very easy explanation to help you want to cure your IBS. Let us suppose you break your arm and you have a compound fracture and it ended up requiring surgery. And your doctor tells you, I'm very sorry, you're going to have to be in that cast 6 months to a year to make sure your bone heals properly. You're not going to give it a second thought. That's what the doctor told you to do. And you can visually look at that arm and see the cast, and you will understand what's happening. Well, I'm going to tell you the same thing. You have damage to your small intestine. And I explained in the past, the lining of your small intestine is epithelial cells. That's the same type of cells that are on the surface of your arm. And in the small intestine, that lining also has finger-like projections, which help absorb the food. It produces enzymes to break down the food. That is where your problem occurs. What IBS is, the medical term is technically effacement of your brush border. That means the lining of your small intestine was compromised or damaged. This is where medicine got hung up. They were so worried about the pancreatic enzymes, but those are a few compared to the 26 or more enzymes your body produces. I am going to teach you what happened to you and why you're not producing those enzymes. In essence, without those intestinal enzymes, you're fermenting your food. And if you understand how beer is made or how bread or cakes are baked, they use yeast to produce gas, to make the flour, the dough, rise. Well, you're doing the same thing in your small intestine. Now you're going to ask, well, why did I develop it? We know, just as a guesstimate, there may be 70 million Americans who develop IBS. So you're going to ask, why doesn't everybody? There is a reason why you particularly develop IBS. And I'm going to explain it to you in video A102. But for now, I want you to understand where your problem is, why you have it. And I will tell you, if you follow these videos, you're going to understand what Irritable Bowel Syndrome is, Inflammatory Bowel Disease, Ulcerative Colitis, and what is the treatment, and you will find out you will be cured. It's all up to you. Spend a little time on it. Think about it. If you wanted to become a chef and you enlisted or enrolled in the Culinary Institute America, CIA, not the CIA you're thinking of, but the Culinary Institute of America, you will pay anywhere from $35,000 to $40,000 tuition a year. You will kill yourself to learn that profession. Well, why not do the same thing for your body, your small intestine? Why not get cured? And you can. Watch these videos, and if you really want to learn how to fix your problem, read the book. It goes into detail in layman's language, easy for you to understand. If you were to take a course in college or even in high school, you can't just rely on the professor lecturing to you. You usually have a companion textbook which you can read over and gain your knowledge and understanding. I'm asking you to help yourself. It's now 8.5 months. I no longer have symptoms. I feel wonderful. That's after 15 years. You can do the same thing. So please check back for A102, why you develop your IBS, and how does your small intestine function. So please come back and check for A102. Have a great day, and thanks for visiting. Your cure is around the corner.